about fishing in the hoods. I do Temu dollar store testing. I'm your host, the Urban Dragon there. I test everything. I'm not paid by these people. I don't do anything, and just every different episodes, I could be chasing anything from giant carp to bass, muskies, walleyes, you name it. And I'm fishing in some of the most horrendous bodies of water that are pretty wild. They load it full of garbage and debris and you name it, sort of thing like that. And I do totally fair testing and that sort of thing like that, and just show people how to fish outside the box. Sadly, and today with the internet and that, most of these kids believe that they came up with new ideas and things like that. Many of these are massive, decades old sort of techniques, and that and sadly they don't realize this, and they think this is all new stuff. Or I see come some trying to break records that actually, even if they break this records, they're small compared to what the fish actually can get, right? And this is what one of the problems you'll see a lot of shows and that, where the guy's got like an 8 pound bass, but it's in Florida. That's not really a big bass. In that, here in my region, that's a big bass, right? That's something you should be waving out on the show, right? But not and sadly, we get, there's so much of this sort of stuff, and so many people giving you false information, telling you that this lure is the greatest and all this stuff. All this is hokey malokey. I've been doing it way longer than any of these like that. Like I was fishing tournaments in the same range as the Jimmy Houstons and the Rolands, like when they started their careers, right? I was just younger, but I was still doing it, the same thing every weekend, hitting the roads there. Adults would bring me all the way up to like drive my own cars and do things like that. And I had partners every weekend of different things like that. They bring me because they knew I could catch the monsters, right? And I won hundreds of open water frozen and frozen water tournaments, right? So a long time I was doing it, right? That sort of thing. So hopefully click like and subscribe in that. I changed the different things, the beginnings of these, because I'm introducing different sort of things. This show, we're going to be fishing on a historic canal system, and using a Temu knockoff sort of roadrunner like sort of baits, and some knockoff swim baits and that are shad like and that. So anyways, hopefully you enjoy the show, and get ready for some action. Already messing. Oh, I don't know what happened here. Did something mess up? No. Okay, see, that's really dangerous. No idea what's going on here now. I'm not sure if I messed up the camera now and that where it's not going to work right. Road runner, you're getting short strikers. Ooh, road runner. You're a big Scooby-Doo. Oh. Same with that one, I waited, right? And that sort of thing like that, but there we go. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Ooh,
These guys are scrapping today, boy. Some days I just reel them in, they barely even do anything, right? And then other days they're scrapping away. Oh, there's Scubby. Alright, the old road runner knockoff. Alright, the big bad boy. I think we'll be able to lift this one without the line breaking. Oh, look at this. There's a giant bass following it. He's trying to eat that. Oh my God, this is cool. I've done this twice online here where another giant bass came up and was trying to actually attack at this guy. A way bigger monster, like probably in the 6-pound class on it. And that sort of thing. A little bit too, this fish is a bit too big for him, and that's why I suppose he gave up, right? But fascinating, you see that once in a while, right? Okay, so let's see here if we can get away with this. Now you got to do this real fast, and just if you feel him about to shake, just let it go, and there we go. See? So, and you can see how short hitter they are. They're barely even being hooked, right? So let's see now if we can get that monster one there that's floating around in there, because that's a real moose, and there could be more even, right? So this is what I was telling you about this body of water. It's a strange place, you know. So we're gonna rehook this. I don't feel like digging in the bag. We might be able to get away with this. If you reposition them, sometimes you can get it back in a spot that will stick there. So there we go. This is still good. The hooks, still hooking well. Yeah. It's not perfect, but this kind of hook to sharpen is a real pain in the ass. It'll a lot of times. Oh man, I hate when this happens. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can get this dude. Cause, okay, come on. Are you around? But see their propensity to big bait? The big giant isn't even remotely interested in this probably, but was willing to take on, yeah, you know, a 2.5-pound bass or anything, right? So. But you can see how short hitter they are, right? But I just don't feel like putting a stinger hook on it, so I don't care if the odd one, you know what I mean? We're not in a tournament here, right? So the hook's still sharp enough to do them and that sort of thing. I guess we gotta go, so where's it going? There we go. There we go. I'm just waiting longer to set the hook into them, and then it's okay, right? Do 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 do. Oh, he pulled out there. See, that's what I was saying. There's something funny about the design of this hook that isn't the world's greatest, right? What I'm going to do is bend that out just a small little bit there. and see if that makes any much of a difference. It's a lighter hook, so you got to be careful a little bit, and that sort of thing like that. But and like I said, this rod's a little bit flimsy for this, just a small amount. Maybe at this bench here I'll get another one, right? It's not worth sharpening this kind of hook, right? And it could be sharper. So. Like it's sharp enough to still get them, but it's not optimized. Like I wouldn't use this in a tournament if hell froze over, right? Can't afford the loss of one fish even, right? Here on Gilligan side.
You almost went in front pool with that bloke.
Okay. Whatever it is, he's running towards me like full blast. Oh, here we go. Calm down there, Scoot. Do 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 do. Calm down, do do do. It's Gary Klein, and he's got a zillion pounds of bass. Okay, so I know this one's really on the ippy here of trying to lift this up, so we'll have to go through the same procedure again here. Oh, brother. Okay. So down with the head again. I'm going to try and point it that way. Maybe it'll pick the bass when I chuck them or whatever. That sort of thing like that. Off with this headphones. Off with this knapsack. Now we got to go here. And then climb underneath this sort of thing here. This is what I have to do with muskies and everything else, right? And that sort of thing like that if they're real big, right? And that. Calm down, Scooby. Calm down. Calm down. I almost got you. Ooh, did you guy? Calm down. There we go. Okay, so we'll shoot this past the camera. I don't know if it picked up anything, but anyway. Okay. Oh, man. So you can clearly see, even in a tournament situation with all this stuff going on, that you can land these guys on real light line, even with a lot of weeds around and that. And this is a later spring, right? So. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so we got it. It seems to be still on there good. Sort of thing like that. This camera's I don't know if I'm really doing this correctly. Hopefully, I'm gonna laugh if none of it shows up as usual. How's this going here? Oh man, that was just about to break. Luckily I didn't attempt to lift him up. So we might as well switch the hook now. Oh, why did I even bother doing this then? I should have just left the hook there. Alright. You'll have to stare at a garbage can for a minute. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay. We'll get another one of these. Now what I suggest is you don't put them back in the same box that the dud one now, because now you know that it needs sharpening, right? If you're gonna if it's still worthwhile saving, right? And that sort of thing like that. So since this is working well, we'll get another one of these, a chartreuse. And sort of thing like that. Now I gotta dig down here and get this up. There we go. We got lucky. It's a mixture bag here, so now I'm gonna have to find another one that'll match it somewhat, right? Oh, that's. Oh, here's one. Okay. At least they give you a few of them. Anyway. So it was a good deal from Temu, like about 50 of them, and they're reasonable size, sort of thing. Probably about, I don't know, 3.5 inches long, something like that. Sort of thing. I got some. I put that a little bit short. There. Now, a lot of times I'll just hook it at the end in between the middle of the hook, but in this situation, because they're biting short and doing weird stuff. Oh no, man! Did I put this upside down? So silly. It turned around on me so much. Yeah, that's right. Okay. We're back in business. Oh my goodness gracious. So now we got a new one with a sharp hook, matching it identical. That sort of thing. Now sometimes if you want it to stay on longer, you can do anything from super glue it of some sort to heat up the lead barb area that you're attaching it on, and heat it up a little bit, and then push it on there, right? And then it'll sort of glue to it, right? Oh, look. Oh my goodness gracious. You're being a Scooby. Yep. Sometimes with 4-pound line, it's sometimes hard to even see it any the older you get. Okay. Oh. Sometimes you'll go to do like a trilene knot or polymer or something, and something messed up with such a light little leg, where you're trying to wrap it around through again. And always wet your knot before you pull it tight. Make sure it's secure. Don't overly start yanking on it and that sort of thing like that, but just enough to make sure that it's on there good. Okay, so we're back in business there. Man, oh man, sometimes. Yippee-yi-yi. Fish-yi-you. Oh. Yeah. Kind of fun for early summer and that sort of thing like that. It's a funny, it was a funny spring a little bit later and that cool weather and that sort of thing like that. So the weed growth isn't as bad as it usually is. But it's certainly popping up all over the place pretty good. Quick, quick, quick. Oh, there's a university near here, so you'll see a lot of the younger ladies there and gents, and they go to the university and they'll jog along here and all that sort of stuff. That bridge swings open. I might have it on film on some other one that I did. I don't remember, but. Now here's an irregular feature, right? You can see that there's a little cut that goes underneath that, right? So certain times of year, this a spot like this might be productive for a fish or two, right? Anybody home? Nobody home. Quack, quack, quack. Hi guys. Ooh, quack, quack, quack. I don't have anything for you, buddies. Ooh, quack, quack, quack. Good morning, little guys. I'm sorry. I don't have any snacks with me. If we were carp fishing, I would. Ooh, yes, I would. Quack, quack, quack. Oh, well. Yeah, I'm a rhinestone cowboy. And I'm going to catch myself a super giant bass. Well, we had to test these baits. Finally, it's starting to pay off there. At first, it was slow for the first hour, that sort of thing. But it's warming up. And like I said, in this body of water, the fish start to turn on then, and there's a little bit of wind now, right? So they don't see the bait as well, and there's a little bit of flash, and it's, you know, a reasonable size of a minnow that they would normally eat. So it's matching the hatch here, sort of thing, right? Quick, 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 quick. Holy quick, quick, quick. Follow me around, guys. Quick, quick, quick. Ooh, that's super quick. Yes, you are. You're a super quacky wacky. Ooh, those super quacks. No worky Duck Dynasty isn't here. Duck Dynasty free zone around here. You guys are safe. Ooh. Quack, 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 quack. That'd be funny, a new version. Duck Dynasty in the hoods, right? And have them like jumping out of these trees and stuff like that if they leave. I could see that. I don't know if they'd want to eat any of the birds around here, boy, I'll tell you. There's Carney looking for more cash on the ground. Him and Trudeau split on the fare of the helicopter, and Trudeau looks for green as well, right? He's looking for green pot plants. So between the two of them, they usually make a few bucks. Quick, 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 quick. Quick, 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 quick. Oh. Quick, 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 quick. Oh, the garbage. Oh. Do 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 do. So we had a little honey hole in their area where we got like 3, 4 in a quick succession sort of thing, right? And then now we're dead again here for a bit. Oh, quick, quick, quick. I don't have anything for you, buddies. Quick, 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 quick. Where's your beauty? Get you what? Oh, the quickies. Oh, my little buddies. Quick, quick, quick. Oh. Oh, the quick, quick. I saved a mallard duck once. His wing was broken. It was in the late sort of fall, right? And I was out muskie fishing, and his wing was broken, so I coaxed him in with some bread, and I caught him, and I put him in the back of my car, and kept him all winter. He healed up his wing and stuff like that, and then let him go back in the spring, and this guy would follow me around and go quack, quack, quack. It was hilarious. It's just like having a pet dog or a cat, right? Like, he'd come for the chow, and I'd talk to him and stuff like that. Very entertaining. I was glad I just happened to be there at the right time in the right place, and I didn't give a shit, right? Like, it's just a little bit of duck food, right? Like, the poor little guy, he had a broken wing, right? Oh, man. Did we get past it? I think there's something still on it. Come on. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah. Oh. There. When I was a kid, it was all gas stuff, but now they have like electric sort of boats mostly. It's fun when you hook one in front of the tour people and they're battling a big fish especially, and they all start like waving and all doing all kinds of stuff. It's pretty entertaining. That's why I like big challenges on Canada Day. I like watching people entertain, you know, sort of thing like that. Come on. Come on, you Scooby. Ooh, the bad boy. So we're coming up to more probable areas again. It's all like different little zones, right? And that sort of thing like that. So. But even though the fish are more active now because it's warming up and that sort of thing like that, they're still not really like grabbing it. They're sort of short striking, right? You'd almost be better off with a stinger hook, but I just don't feel like it. And I gotta test them like regular sort of is anyways. Like a rhinestone cowboy, I'll be casting my roadrunner day and night. Come on. Come on, you Scooby. Okay, so we'll get past here. Go in this inside grass line here. Anybody home? Oof. Suck at it, man. You would have by now catch a 10,000 with the daredevil and the oola popper. And the jitterbug. The big O. I'm a big old cowboy. All you need is the white big old. Look at the garbage, eh? Like, people throwing in all this trash, like, constantly everywhere, eh? The poor fish. Well, second I'm at, there are no bites now. Now we're back to dead zones again. Oh. But there's a couple of holes out here and different things that occasionally will produce something decent, right? Nice musky or different ones, right? The walleye. And of course the big largemouth, and occasionally a giant smallmouth will meander through this area as well. So a little bit of everything, right? This guy, he should be using the jitterbug and the daredevil together. Undefeatable. My uncle, all he casts is the daredevil and big O together. I remember this guy at this tournament, and I see this guy, and he pulls out like about 5 boxes of white big O's, right? I couldn't believe it, but like, he said, "Oh, that's all you need." I mean, all lure families can catch a lot of fish under certain conditions, right? But I mean, to suggest that there's such thing as a magic lure or any of this stuff is complete hogwash. As I proved to you on all these shows so far, everything I throw, I'm able to catch some fish with, right? I'm especially a spinnerbait nut, but I mean, you know, that's just because I love throwing them, and in this body of water, they're a good bait, right? For me. A lot of people use them to catch nothing, but my uncle, he only uses the Kiko Man sauce and the daredevil. Oh, man, come on. Now we're back to dead zones again here. I tried to get it out of there, but it did make it. Oh, those bloody reeds. Oh, that water's still cool for this time of year. Oh. Surprised there's not more people out, but oh man. Disco, disco duck. Rick Dees and his, what was it, Rick Dees and his cast of monkeys or something, whatever it was, something like that. Disco Duck. Oh my goodness, man, my neck and everything is just so sore. Oh, I have to keep readjusting the strap on this thing. It's constantly digging into me, right? Oh, come on, man. A lot of dead debris in this spot. I've already went through about 3 or 4 different things that I managed to wiggle it off, it seems. No, there was still a little bit there. Disco Duck. Man. Oh man, I'm telling you, my whole neck and everything is just killing me, man. Terrible. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Disco, the Disco Duck. Stared at casting my Roadrunner the other night. Oh, the giant bass are treating me right. Wiggling my oh, there we go. I think we can lift this guy. Ooh, good. That got rid of that problem. Okay. Don't have to dig him up now. A lot of times I'll do that. I'll just, once I get up to the shore there, I don't really care, right? So. But they're jumping today. A lot of times in this body of water, they don't do that, right, at all much. It's Tommy Bipple, and he's got 1,000,000 pounds of bass. Oh, my neck, man. I don't know why it keeps hitting somewhere there on my neck, and it's like hurting so much, man. It's insane. Oh, man, I can't stand it. Oh. I tried to get out of that, but it got me. Is there still any there? No. Yay. There's these strange electric bikes you can also, I don't know how you use them or whatever. suppose you got to pay for it somehow. But you can take these electric bikes and scoot along here. So the only thing wrong with these Temu Roadrunner rip-offs is the hook design's a bit odd. The gap should be bigger and, you know, a different sort of way, right? It's easy for these kinds to seemingly jump it a little bit better than normal, right? Which is a benefit to me because I don't care, like we're just testing them, right? So once I get them to the shore, that's the end of the fight. Anyways, right? But if I was in a tournament, I wouldn't use these, right? I would beef up that sort of look and a little bit of a different way, right? Do 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 do. It's Rich Tolber Bass Wars. Do 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 do. I wonder if any of these kids even today know any of these people, right? That sort of thing, like that. The Ricky Greens and the Tommy Martins and all the gang. Basil Bacon, creator of the Baconator spinnerbeat. I bet you there's even some now that doesn't even know who Van Damme or Iconelli is barely anymore, right? That sort of thing, right? Oh, I waited again. Oh, this is a bigger fish. Okay, folks, we might be in trouble here. There we go, yeah. Ooh, I won't be able to, not another one, I gotta do this. Oh no, he's not as bad as I thought. I might be able to scoop this guy here. Okay. I gotta take a chance with this, yeah, he's alright. I thought he was a little bit bigger there at first. Oh, you fooled me, Pano. We're doing it. Okay. Now calm down, Scooby. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Hopefully you can just jump this and then, okay. Oh, now he's closing his mouth up, all things, right? Oh, thank goodness. Ooh, boy, did you get that down there. Holy mackerel, dude. That's the first one that did that. All the rest of them, I waited too long with this guy. Ugh. This is not good, man. No wonder you put up such a fight. Or, you big Scooby? Okay, so we're in bad trouble here. Oh man, this is not good. I don't want to dig up for pliers in here and that sort of thing. I'm pretty sure that I can get this guy out. It's not in a terrible, it's like in a bad spot, but there we go. Come on. Yeah, nice. There we go. Oh, good little guy. Great. He'll be perfectly fine. It didn't even hurt him. He wasn't bleeding anywhere in there. The hook's still sharp, yeah. That knot's weak now. So we'll have to retie that. And this is what I said, this is religious stuff you're doing here. Watch out for these here, this puff stuff here. Oh, for goodness sakes. Go away, man. Well, it still refuses to go through this line tip. Unbelievable, man. I still can't get rid of it. Oh, yeah, just agitating stuff. Okay, there we go. And now some of the line here is a bit, yeah, it's weak. I'm a rise to you. They're feisty today. Like I said, a lot of times they don't massively jump on this body of water, right? So, but they seem to be leaping today, boy. Oh, they're leaping. There's a little bit of a unbelievable. The wind pushed the thing, and now it's going to be hard to get through these two loops. Luckily I did. There we go. Yeah, all right, we're back in business. Oh. Do 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 do. It's Roland Martin. He's got a 1.5 pounds of bass. Oh, roll it. The mistake that both Roland and King Van Dam did is retiring. I mean, everybody's going to have the odd tournaments that they might not fish well for a while, because what happens is you almost start feeling guilty. Like sometimes if I won like 4 or 5 in a row, I just like the same people you're seeing, and they get so discouraged, right? And that sort of thing like that. Well, I actually had a little bit of a hurt in me, right? And that sort of thing like that. And you're starting to almost feel bad, right? So I think what happens is that you just get too complacent. You're not sharpening your hooks as much as you normally were. You don't have to drive for it as much, right? To be the big winner every single time. Even though you think you do, you might not, right? Like maybe it's in you that yeah, you know, that you're starting to burn out for a while, right? So, and then you get, like, after you've stopped competing fishing for a while, you get this energy back, right? And you miss it and all that sort of stuff. Now you want it, you got that drive again for it, right? Do 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 do. And a lot of people, you'd think they would have had a better career, some of them, that they were such magnificent anglers if they got on their game, but they just didn't seem to, I don't know, probably like fish location abilities or that sort of thing, whatever it was, right? Not really sure. Each individual is different, right? Yeah, that guy fooled me. I thought he was bigger than that because he really went for a mass run there, right? And he got buried down the weeds, so I had all that extra weed weight with it too. Occasionally want to fool you. Oh. Now we're coming up to a major probable spot here, and it could be anything. If a muskie decides to take it over to, you know, a giant bass, walleye, what have you, right? Northern pike sometimes. Who's ever the big boss around, right, at the time, they'll take up this more major sort of fish attractor, right? Good hunting zone. Docks are great because they provide shade. the fish can hide underneath it and dart out and get an unsuspecting minnow or what have you, right? Any kind of fish, you know. Froggy, what have you, right? But that's the ticket, is just wait a little bit longer. But with that guy, he actually inhaled it, right? Like all the rest of them were more right around the mouth, right? So they're getting more aggressive and that sort of thing like that. So that's good. Sadly, we got into some garbage here. Right over a key little spot there. There's a grass line there, but I broke free of it, but it's too late. Okay, so we'll work it again. Come on. Come on, Scooby. Come on. Oh, there we go. Exactly what I told you, right? Do 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 do. But you can see the fun little fight off of these kind of rods, right? So I love this stuff, right? Like, and I don't care if the odd one jumps off, right? Like once I got him at shore here, you know, it's just as it's a pain in the ass to have to lift him up with 4-pound line, and then if he breaks off, then he's got the lure in his mouth and what have you. But I think we'll be able to get away with this dude too here if we're careful. Calm down. Ooh, okay. So, let's see here. Are we going to be able to do this? Yeah, just barely. Just barely, 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 barely. Well, ooh, he was just about to shake. So there we go, another new Scooby. All right. So, first I had an orange one, and the skies are a bit bright, and the water's clearing up. So, and there's more prey at certain times of year that are like this, that sometimes something too flashy is too much, right? Going a little Scooby. Oh. Okay. Now are we going to have to re-knot again and re-sharpen? Okay, the hook's still sharp. Oh no, that's pretty good. That guy didn't do any wear and tear much on it. Oh. Do 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 do. Ah, Bill dance. And I just got 10,000 crappie. I miss a lot of those older characters. They were way more entertaining than it. I've never been impressed with any of the ones of today. The only few that I think is an excellent angler for their age and all that sort of stuff is Miria, like old ones like Penny Berryman. She was pretty decent and that sort of thing like that. Chris Houston, the greatest female angler I've ever in history, right, and that sort of thing like that. For those kinds of ones, right, there was Hillary Martin there. I find her, she was trained by her grandpa, of course, and by her dad, and both of them are tournament champions, of course, right, and that sort of thing like that. So, and apparently she's won some and, you know, placed high and all that sort of stuff, so she's getting there. That sort of thing like that. So the poor ladies, they got rid of the Bassingals. They might have reinstated it by now, but the last I ever read with Sugar and all the gang there, that somehow it's got, they couldn't find proper sponsors for it, right? Which is an awful shame, right? I don't see any difference here, right? It's just, you know, the Bassmasters should allow that sort of thing like that and ban completely cheap boxing completely. And that sort of thing. because I'm not impressed with that sort of fishing, right? There's a few exceptions. There's some pretty skilled casters, and what's his name? The Seth fellow. I find him, I'm surprised he hasn't won more tournaments and sort of thing like that. So I find him not as like 10 zillion reliant on that sort of thing like that. That guy's a good shallow water fisherman from what I've ever seen, and that sort of thing like that. So at least he has some abilities there that are a little bit better than a lot of the average anglers that are in the Bassmasters, right? Of his casting ability and things like that, right? So he's been doing it for a while. So I'll give him his props. He's not on there anymore, but my favorite of sort of new guys when they first appeared was like Gary Klein, right? I thought he was pretty impressive and that sort of thing like that. And he likes using, like me, like spider web line and all that sort of stuff. And I've watched him fish play, and he seems to be a good fish player. So, you know, and that sort of thing like that. Of course, Paul Elias, the king of giant stringers and stuff like that. So him and I are similar that way of liking hunting monsters. And if we find them, God help them all. Right? We're going to be, you know, sort of thing, right? I've broken a lot of sort of records and Canadian sort of stuff there where I brought in way bigger fish than some of the Bassmasters ever have in Canadian waters or some of the stuff. I brought in a 37-pound 2 ounce, then 33 and 31 in a Quebec Aylmer tournament. I destroyed them. And back then you were allowed, even though I had a person with me, I told the guy to basically sleep, right? It was a strange tournament. It was like from Friday to Sunday, right? And you had to go way out to some place in Quebec to even get your prize money and all that stuff. But I blew these people away, like just totally destroyed them. and I was using an old Roland Martin trick of modifying a spinnerbait to make it swing underneath the docks and stuff like that, right? So numerous, not only him, some other ones had mentioned this sort of thing, right, at the time, and so I just added it to my repertoire, right, and that sort of thing like that. Look at the garbage there. Look at that. Isn't that disgusting? And this is what people are throwing in here daily. Look at this stuff. There's piles of garbage there. Like, just disgusting, right? Like, does not anybody have any care for their water systems or anything? Like, I mean, you know, you've seen here, like, I mean, I catch a fair amount of fish, right? Considering it's such a polluted crap hole, right? And that sort of thing like that, right? You know, and multi-species I can add, right? I'm surprised we didn't get off one of these pillars here. There's a little drop off, but it's very small. It's just a small piece there. But in the summer months, like right in the middle of summer there, it'll get pretty thick. Right now it's just light stuff because of the cold spring we had. But besides that, I haven't seen anybody that like has really, you know, impressed me of any sort, right? Sort of thing like that. And another thing I massively disagree with, that some kid from a high school or a university gets a shot at a world title. I mean, that's silly, right? He hasn't earned his dues yet, right? The only thing that they should allow with that is that qualifies them to make it to an open. And then if they can make it, you know what I mean, and then at least the kids proved themselves, right? And that sort of thing like that. But not just handing them something like that. I think that's a bit out there. Because if any of these people really believe they're the best smallmouth anglers in the world or any of this stuff, they're delusional. There's, you know, sort of stuff, right? There we go. Oh yeah, I knew this was a better fish. I figured he'd be near that sort of thing, right? Calm down there, Scooty. Oh yeah, yeah. Ooh, dude. Stay down. Oh, there's a moose. Oh my God! Now these drags on these systems are not like the Alcedo that I had, right? I'm definitely gonna have to get this guy. I'm gonna have to lean over. There's no way on earth I'm gonna be able to get that dude up. Oh yeah, this. She's heading right for this garbage there. Oh, this is great, man. I'm glad I got this on film. Even if we lose her, at least it's a good fight scrap here, right? There we go. She's calming down. Calm down. Just stay down there. Normally I don't care, right? But I mean, this one's a pretty decent one here, right? So, I knew right away. I seen that big pile of garbage there all day. Sort of, that's a perfect spot for a big monster to hang out on, right? Calm down there. Ooh, my goodness. Okay. I got to be really careful here. Oh, she's going to jump again. Oh, that's a big fish, man. Over 6 pounds for sure, somewhere in that sort of range. Nice fish. Oh, yeah, yeah. Beauty. Calm down there, lady. Where did the big girl? All right. Being slaughtered by the old skamalie. All right. And this cheap under $20 reel. So you don't have to have the big budget like Van Damme and them to get sort of big fish, right? And I'm a big fish specialist, so I know how to find giant fish, right? Sort of thing like that. So, but yeah, that's a beautiful fish, man. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so anyways, we're gonna have to put down the hat. We're gonna do everything here. I'm gonna try and put it this way, and maybe we can get it. Maybe we can get lucky and get it. Sort of thing where after. Okay, so I gotta get this. Oh my goodness, man, this is so nasty. Okay, so now we're in bad trouble here. This area here is a little bit taller, so it's harder for me to. I hopefully, because I might. We have to get this on the other side. I took a real risk here. This is still on up. Okay. Oh my goodness, man. Calm down there, Scoot. Oh, that is a beautiful fish. Absolute monster. Monster. Calm down there. Oh my God, man, I'm falling over because this area is bad. It's a dangerous spot, man. Oh my God, man. Oh my God, man. Is that ever dangerous? A part of the wall is missing, so I can tip over in 2 seconds, man. Okay, we almost got her. Yes, we got her. Oh, beauty, man. Monster. Nice fish, man. Hopefully, this will pick this up here. I don't know if this camera will. But anyways, there's a moose. There we go. My God. Oh, that was close. Almost fell in the tree. Oh, my goodness. Gracious. Terrible. Oh, nice fish. So that'll probably be our monster for today. Sort of thing like that. We'll definitely be retying that. Sort of thing. So I have no idea if this camera is even working or anything. I mean, this is going to suck if it's not on here. As usual, a lot of these are messed up, right? Sort of thing like that. But it looks like it's still running. So I'm not even going to press any buttons. I'm just going to let it keep running until it runs out, right? Sort of thing like that. But I knew there'd be a monster in there, right? You could see there's some kind of wacky barrel, right? And it goes down, and then there's a marker buoy there. There's a little bit of a drop and some things like that. And it just looked like a key location where a bigger one would take it over, right? So watch this. Nothing, right? So that's why you have to resharpen and re-knot your hooks constantly, right? Especially if you're using like line. Again, I don't use like you'll see even the Scott Merton or different ones using where they'll use like a braided line and then a trace, right? I don't do that. You'll get way more fish if you don't use spider wire of any sort, like any of those kind of braid lines. They're complete garbage. And I can prove, and I've proven to you here, right? Like, I get monster bass in. They're not breaking my line. The odd one will jump me, right? Because of the hook design. And I don't care, right? But it's not likely there's another one there, but you never know. Well, that was a good scrap there, so we got her. Do 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 do. Well, look at the garbage, eh? See it all there? Oh, look at the little duckies. Ooh, the little guys. So we're going to drop it down here along this dock here. Sometimes one will come flying out of it. It could be anything from a muskie to a bass, you know, whoever takes it over it. But you can see underneath there, right, it creates like a cover sort of area, and the guy can hide right underneath there, right? So I got it on the other side of this sort of thing, right? Right away I knew that there would be likely something on it. It looked like a prime garbage location, that sort of thing like that. Watch your line. If you see it stop, twitch to the sides, any kind of thing, if you don't feel the spinner blade anymore or whatever it is you're using, right? If something's wrong, set the hook anyways, just in case, right? It could be a weed, but it also may be that monster, right? Try not, when you land on docks, if you're going to be fishing from off the dock, right? Try not make a bunch of noise stepping on it, bang, 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 and all that sort of stuff, right? So we're working it down there. Nothing? Okay, so, oh. Now here's another one here. Oh, my goodness, that was so dangerous, man. There, do you not see here how it's tilted over? That shouldn't be like that, right? So, a bit scary, right? So, if you're gonna fight a fish, don't lean over in this spot again, right? This is new. It wasn't that bad before. So now we're working this sunken sort of crap here, and there could be another one hidden around in there somewhere, but at least we got one moose out of it. But look at the garbage though, eh? Isn't that terrible, right? Well, at least we got our monster out of it. That was a decent fish. Oh. You get 5 of them, and you're going to destroy everybody in the bloodhead, right? 3 or 4 of them, and a kick, like even a bigger one or that sort of thing like that. Any kind of combination like that, right? Even in southern tournaments, a lot. If I had like 5 fish like that, that would be, you know, they're going to be in trouble, right? Now, also in front of docks, I explained this on another show, but a lot of times docks are built like near a drop-off area and that, so people can go swimming. And then, of course, this is good for bass, right, or other species, muskie, spike, walleye. The list is endless, just about anything moving, right? Even carp will hang around these spots and different things, right? So it's always worth, besides checking the dock itself, sort of, you know, the nearby drop-off that it might have. Some people sink like brush or weird stuff around it too. Yeah. Anybody helm left here? No. But at least we got our moose anyway, so I think I'm not going to bother with this much. I might give it one more last shot here. Certainly. Yeah, ooh. Ooh. Eee. There's another monster here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Would have been great on film if a giant comes right out, right? Yeah, yeah. Come on, you Scooby. I know you're there. Ooh, you big guy. Ooh, the big bear. Well, we burned that out. Even though there might be another fish or two around, we'll keep going. But like I told you, it gets better as I don't know why I even bother half filming half the time in the morning, because a lot of times it sucks, right? But as the water temperature warms throughout the day and that, they seem to really turn on this body of water, right? Unbelievable. And because of the type of rod, it can't really bust it free as well as like a real fast action, stiffer sort of spinning rod, right? And that sort of, or bait caster. And a lot of times it won't bust free, right? Watch it as it moves, folks. You're seeing greatness in your face. I remember that from some Roland Martin tournament. He missed by 2 ounces, right? Him and I have the same bizarre curse of dozens of big fish tournaments to, limit ones, all this sort of stuff, like combinations of everything, where you're losing by 2 ounces, right? Like, it's so retarded, right? It doesn't make, as for instance, if I went down to Van Dam there by 2 ounces, right, does that really make him, the superior angler? Not really, right? It's just, one fish happened to have an extra minnow in his mouth, right? Especially when they're over 3 days, right, and things like that. And there's the world famous Ritz. Ooh, you gotta eat at the Ritz. That used to be our wonderful exhibition there. We had a perch come out of just there now. That used to be our wonderful exhibition area and that, but these characters decided to get rid of that and turn it into a pavilion sort of thing, right? So now their fair is like way out of the city, right, where nobody goes to it, right? But back in the day, it was the premier thing to do, right? I'd go fishing down here, and then I'd go into the X and you could back in the day, right? And there's everything from card games, all kinds of wacky stuff that they had, right? Like all kinds of different sort of games and different things, great rock concerts and all that, right? Do 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 do. Buzz Ramsey, and I only use the Buzz Ramsey fly, made out of total THC. I always thought that'd be funny. A guy like him, he's a famous fly fisherman, if you're not familiar with him, and sort of thing like that. And I love the name Buzz Ramsey, right? So I always thought it'd be funny if he had like some kind of store, you know, like Buzz Ramsey's Fly Fishing and Pot Emporium. Combine the two, right? All my flies are impregnated with hemp oil. That stuff, that'd be hilarious. Go on, go on, go on. Come on. You're the big boy. Ooh, the big squeak. Ooh, the big girl. Oh, man. Oh, disco down, disco down, disco down like a great big clown. I said disco down. Everybody start being a clown. Do 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 do. Okay, now there's a little bends here. These things are irregular features, believe it or not. It's a small thing, but the little bend in or out sort of bends is different than the surrounding area, right? And they may have something strange on it, a boulder or two or some little thing, right? And now all of a sudden, there. I waited a little bit again. Oh, another decent fish, man. Oh, yeah. The monsters are coming out today. Do 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 do. Watch out, Van Dam. Watch out, Iconelli. Watch out, old Roland. Watch out, Jimmy. Ow. Ooh, do 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 do. Do 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 do. I miss tournaments. If I could find some sort of person that wouldn't believes he's Kevin Van Dam and stuff like that, and he's a newbie that hasn't ever placed 20th or better sort of thing, then I'll do fine with him, right? He could drive the boat, he could do all that. I just want to run the trolling motor and find the fish and hook them, right? He can sit down and sleep if he wants to, right? And that sort of thing like that. But sometimes I think I get coming out of retirement because I certainly can still do this and that sort of thing like that. So, okay, I'm not going to risk this at all. She's way too big for that. But another sort of nice one here. So now we're at it again. Oh my God, man. Today, I should have used the other one with the 10, 15 pound line. Then I could lift most of these up. I wouldn't chance it with a 6-7 because they can still jump and stuff like that and do different things. So might bust it off, right? But, oh well, we're at it again. Do 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 do. At least this area looks more level, right? Okay, so I'm trying to keep it tight here, but it's going to be difficult. There we go. And can you imagine if these were like tournament situations, right? You got to do all this extra stuff. The probability of the fish jumping off is a lot worse, right? As you sort of do this, right? Okay, calm down there, Scooby. Oh, that is one big girl. There we go. All right, another juicy fatty bite. Let's see there. I don't know if this is picking us up, but there we go. I think you just heard that on the film there. Wow, big one. Oh, okay. Now oh my goodness, this is so dangerous, man. One of the worst things ever in history, right? Like to do this. Some days, like when I'm musky fishing and stuff like that, pretty well all of them I gotta do this with, right? And not that I'm complaining of it, but I mean, it can be like risky, right? And that's like that. Oh my goodness. So thank God I changed the color of that bait from not getting much responses to, and now it's warming up and that sort of thing like that. So we got some decent fish here. Oh, better put this back down again. Here's sort of take a second. Gotta get the knapsack back on. We'll have to retie that again. Oh, wow. That'd be a fun contest. Van Damme's retired, so he has nothing better to do. Get those Canadian brothers there, Corey and something or other, those two, and some other character they want to bring along, sort of thing like that. Maybe what's that young kid, Ashtray, or he's a rapper, he looks like a rapper. Some young kid there, sort of thing like that. Those ones, and have them out in a boat and do like, because when he attacked Larry Nixon there, we'll have the same thing, like it'll be like a super bass, where it's sectioned off into different sections, right, and that sort of stuff like that. And my team's got to fish from shore, and they get it in a boat, but they're not allowed their cheap boxes, and they can just have a flasher and no pre-practice, because there's no reason to. You'll cover all the areas of the canal, right, and that sort of thing like that as we go along. And I would pick, like, for team members, it'd have to be somebody. The first thing I think I would pick is, even though she's a young one, I just would like to see her get a shot at Van Damme, just to prove herself and that sort of thing like that, would be Hillary Martin. So I think I'd get along with her fine and that sort of thing like that. I met Scott years ago, and a very nice fellow, and that sort of thing like that. And plus she was trained by her granddaddy and her dad and that sort of stuff, right? So, you know, get her and some celebrity person that isn't known as a big fisherman, like, to bring action and entertainment to it. So I'd pick Mr. Beast. I know a lot of people, there's even shows now where people knocking him every second, oh, Mr. Beast didn't pay his tax right, and all this BS stuff. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, any guy that's gets a bunch of dogs and cats, adopted to all kinds of different things that I've seen him do. I mean, if I was his dad, I think I'd be proud of that. So yeah, all these people can go. They're just jealous that this guy has millions of subscribers. I'll never get remotely close to him, right? That sort of thing like that. But I think he would bring a lot of entertainment to it, and that. And then highlight my canal of how filthy and polluted it is, and right, and that sort of thing like that. Plus, I'd demand like a sponsor. They're only allowed to use their sponsors. I can use whatever the hell I want, and that sort of thing like that. And a couple other people, and I don't know who that would be, right? If Gary Klein has nothing to do, I'd take him in a second, and that sort of thing like that. I'd take the Seth guy, but he's too much of a fan of Van Damme and that sort of thing like that, right? That's I can't. It's like old school against. So I'll make that one exception of the Hillary Martin, simply because she's was trained old school, new school, and a bit of everything, right? And that sort of thing like that. Plus, I don't think it's fair that somebody with her skill level doesn't get a shot at the Van Dammes and all these kinds of people, right? That sort of thing like that. If I had it back in the day, I would have picked Jimmy and Chris Houston, right? That, you got the biggest spinnerbait lunatics on the planet, right? Sort of all casting at the same time. I'm sure we'd be able to destroy sort of these guys, right? That sort of thing like that. Because you put a spinnerbait in my hands, man, you're in trouble. Like, sort of thing, right? Like when it comes to any tournaments, I know how to use any kinds on this planet, right? Like zillions of sorts and different ways of doing things, right? And I make a lot of my own homemade ones, right? And that sort of thing like that. So that would be a fun old contest, but sadly they're a bit up there, right, to be doing that anymore. And Chris, I think, is not the healthiest and that sort of thing like that. But otherwise, I would have picked them and that sort of thing like that, or Roland and even Mary Ann Martin. I met her; she was a really nice lady. But yeah, maybe like Gary Klein and somebody else. I just don't know who. But like 5 against 5 sort of, right? Like or 4 against 4, and that sort of maybe give us one extra, right? Some, considering one of them wouldn't be a professional angler of any sort, right? Like, I don't know, he might be a really good fisherman as far as I know, but I mean, he doesn't do it like when I was doing, or Van Damme or these guys, right? So, yeah. But yeah, somebody like that, because I would have picked the Seth guy, but he's too much like for the Van Damme sort of era, sort of thing. So yeah, I just can't, right? But otherwise I would. So I'm giving the guy quite the respect for me to mention any young people of today on the Bassmasters that impressed me. That really, I'm telling you, this guy's good, right? So I think he'll win more tournaments as he goes along and that sort of thing like that. But I don't know. Oh, I mean, if he would do it with me and if he was still active, I don't even know. I haven't checked up on the Bassmasters in a while, so I'm not even sure if Rick Clent's still doing things. But if he was around, I don't care how old he is. That old master, I know he'll be able to catch a fish or two, right? So I would certainly pick him. Paul Elias, David Fritz. I'd pick those guys. Ricky Green, if he was still, kicking around and all that sort of ones. There's a whole pile of them that I would pick, that for the last, like some other one, right? Some legend, right? Stacy King, he was a well-known spinnerbait angler too, right? That sort of thing like that. He had a good spinnerbait out there. I used a few of them there before and caught some decent fish with them. Well designed, most of them, and that from the models that I tried anyway. Great spinnerbait angler. Oh. So this wind is really helping up. It's warmed up a little bit, and that sort of thing like that. These guys are more active. Oh my goodness. All the wind blows and dust and leaves and flagpoles and different things. Oh my goodness gracious, man. Oh, don't tell me I lost my lighter. Yeah, I did. Ooh, Scooby-Doo. Yippee-yi. But yeah, something like that, or even Larry Nixon I would take. Larry Nixon, he'd be alright, considering he has a little bit of a comeback for Van Damme there and put him in. That'd be good. Yeah, ones like that, somebody I'd pick, right? But have it like every mile, and you got an hour, and if you hook a fish, you can decide to keep going and go to the next pool and get ahead, or if you think there's going to be more there, you can stick it out until, and then leave whenever you feel like it. That sort of thing, right? And that'd be fun, something like that, like just, you know, whoever gets the first draw, right, and that sort of thing like that, and maybe split up like the team, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, so that way, because the other way, if you're in a bass boat and let's say there was 2 bass boats that they had, right, and they're just allowed to use a flash or whatever, they can still cover all the trajectories out here and reach fish out in the middle better and things like that, right? So, but, and that's an old thing from the cattle castle from the 1800s. So it's pretty old. That part they didn't remove for some reason. Hopefully that one in the garbage dump area caught on film there, because that was great. That was the biggest one. But 2 others there are pretty decent, like not much smaller than that one. I tried to get off of that debris there, and I think I broke free from it. Oh, there's more down there, man. Man, oh man, oh man. Do 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 do, ba ba, do 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 do. It's Jay Ellis, and he's got a pound of bass. It's still rolling, and he got 10,000 pounds of bass in the popper. Oh, God. I'd take him. I always thought he should have won more tournaments than he has. I think he's a pretty consistent angler. I've seen him a lot of times in the top sort of thing, right? Or Al Lindner, if he was still one, I'd take him anytime. That guy's my friggin' hero. Out of all the legendary anglers, that's one in a boat that I would be a bit nervous of. And my mentor, Roland, right? Because just, you know, he's more special to you, right? And that sort of thing like that. But you can clearly see you don't need like all these gimmicky stuff. You know, like about 70% of the time, my flasher was even busted, or paper graph, or early LCDs, all those ones when I was really heavy into the game, right? And I still ended up winning a lot of these, and never was on the body water in my life before, right? Just by being able to read terrain and that sort of thing like that, and to figure out the time of year and what kind of spots would probably attract like average size fish to get a limit quick, and then the rest of the day I'd hunt monsters, right? All you needed was one or two, and all of a sudden now you're the winner, right? Now we have a little bit more probability here of walleyes and that in certain sections here that we're coming up on. So do 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 do. Ray with his giant cowboy hat. I always love that. That guy knew how to, you know, like even if the guy had 4 pounds, he made it sound like as if, you know, he had 1,000 pounds, right? He just had a way about doing things that appealed to the public, I guess, in general, right? Like, I found him totally amusing the first time I saw him in the late 60s, right? Now the wind's calmed down again, right? Which is not good, but this is deeper holes, so it doesn't matter as much. Come on, the big walleye. Ooh, you big walleye. Ooh. Ooh, the big boy. So if Van Damme wants to come out of retirement, I'd do it. But I'd have to have a sponsor and bet a Vegas-style bet on it, right? Because they're going to believe 100% that, you know, King Van Damme, Gustafsson, and the Johnson brothers, something like that, whatever combination that they came up with, right? That sort of thing like that. Whatever 4 or 5 guys we'd pick, right? They would believe that they're going to win like no problem, right? Well, that's the largest mistake that they're ever going to make, right? Come on. Ooh, you big Scooby. Ooh. In this area here, sometimes they'll follow the bait from right out in the center and then hit it right just when you're about to bring it out, right? And things like that. Quite often they'll do that. It's Ray Scott. He's got 1,000 pounds of bass in his hand. Yeah, there's others out there, right? And things like that would be a decent sort of one to pick, right? And that sort of thing like that for sure. There's many more, but I'd rather have a few old legends with me, right? And sort of stuff like that. Maybe only one or two youngsters, right? Just to throw it in, right? So for sure, Hillary Martin and Mr. Beast, right? And then the rest of them is, there's a lot to choose from that I can pick, right? Come on, stay upwind. Sadly, the bottom terrain here changes a lot and that sort of thing for a bit. So it's more of a walleye, smallmouth sort of zone, right? But there is largemouth, of course, always mixed in with them and that sort of thing like that. But at least we're not picking up a lot of dead weeds.
Tournament tip of today. Some shows I don't do if they were like they're carp, even though I fish a lot of carp tournaments and I won every one that I had entered from the 60s and on in that. If early ones in Illinois and in Quebec and Ontario, where we had some of the earliest ones ever in history, right? And that sort of thing like that. But that's a different, ball game completely sort of thing. So I don't really talk about that sort of stuff too much. But like regular game fish ones, I fish like over 1,100 tournaments and that. And this is one of my proudest achievements that I was mentioning there. And this is part of that 37 2 stringer, right? I mean, so, that's why I don't fear like other sort of big anglers knowing in that because I can match anything that any of these people have ever done, right? And that sort of thing like that. So I don't, yeah, when it comes to fishing, I started fishing competitively at 3, taking on adults, right? Back in those days, they'd allow the craziest stuff because I'd punk out these organizers. I'm just a kid, and I'd say, what are you scared of me? I'm paying an adult entry fee. What do you care? And then they'd say, well, you got to stay with the young fella or whatever, right? And they'd have somebody like as if they're my guardian, right? And I destroy these people, right? A lot of times and that sort of thing like that. So, but this legendary stringer was insane, man. For 3 days, I had just like one of the greatest achievements ever and the largest stringers ever recorded in Canadian bass tournaments that I know of teams or single people, not even close to these, right? I think there was one I saw early 30s or something, somebody bring in once and that sort of thing like that, but that's about it, right? Like a team and that sort of thing like that. So it's pretty rare, like what I achieved there, but these body of water was still had logs in it and all kinds of stuff. And it had a lot of virgin areas that because I had like massive, piles of areas to fish. I wouldn't consistently keep fishing the same areas, and I knew where giants were all over through the river, right? So I achieved amazing results, right? And that sort of thing like that. But it was the craziest rules in Quebec. You get some strange sort of things like that. Like I probably hold a couple of records out there that like I've never heard of this anywhere, and I'm extremely well read on these kinds of things. But I brought in like a pike contest on Constance Lake in one day, and right in front of the organizers, I was catching these like about 15 feet in front of them, and they seen the impossible. It got so bad that hundreds of cars started moving in on me and circling around me and drilling holes near me, and they still couldn't catch anything. I caught 105 pike in one day in an ice fishing contest. So obviously I won, right? Because they had all kinds of slot prizes. The biggest, I won for the biggest, and all kinds of different things like that. Now, out of that 105, because we didn't have a ruler with us, it ended up that 12 of them were 11 point some inches long, right? So I actually was like 93 of legal pike, and the rest were these little minnow guys, right? But this lake has loads of small little pike in it and stuff like that. But even a few over 20 pounds have been caught in over the ages, right? And that sort of thing like that. I was in an open water one in their tournament, and I got one 18 pounds, and I ended up winning with the thing, right? But I mean, so there's the odd fluke one that eats all the other smaller pike, right? Gets pretty big and macho, right? And that sort of thing like that. But you don't see stringers like this, like even these artificial ones that have broken some smallmouth bass records and things like that. I was in a tournament in Carmen Lake, and the first fish I brought in was late five. Then it was just like a big fish contest, right? So I just kept topping this. I ended up catching 7 smallmouth over 5 pounds, including one 7 pounds right on the dot, and I won it with the big bass, right? And this was over in Quebec and stuff like that. And they had this strange trout tournament too going, and they have landlocked salmon in this lake, and everything was very nice lake. But giant smallmouth I located on these sort of vertical cliffs, and they had these a massive drop off into about 60, 80 feet of water, but had these cliffs on it, like outcroppings coming down on it, right? And these big smallies were like suspended around these outcroppings and stuff. So I mean, it was a wild scene, and that sort of thing like that. So, and these are real females, not these artificially fed ones that you'll see in the Bassmasters that have broken some records. Are actually really old males that we might have even released some in tournaments in the earlier 2000 range, right? Because these guys they're showing ages of over 40 years, right? And that sort of thing like that. And they got now artificial rough in there and all kinds of weird stuff that has affected their growing and them being a premium predator, right? You see this in other bodies of water too, like Lake St. Clair and ones like that, right? And that sort of thing like that. So these really aren't as impressive a fish as you think. Plus that they're caught with, using maps that are so intricate now that you know every little piece of irregular cover and stuff that's visible above the water, but barely below it. And you also know all the structural components at the bottom of the lake and all these kinds of things, right? Well, they have maps now, Mark. We're telling even the best time to catch the fish and everything. So these guys are more like electronics people, right? Like I said, in my days, a lot of times, I mean, I had to fish the tournament. I'm not going to throw away $400 or $500 entry fee, and the some part of the boat was broken. I got a bass boat running, and thank goodness we came in second. Missed again by this ridiculous 2 ounce one up in White Lake region and that, and. All this because the person I was with there, they demanded to keep net the fish, and I said no, stay away from it. And he done this, and I lost a giant smallmouth over 7 pounds in Big Rito Lake from a character doing that. It was a monster, like extremely rare for up in that sort of area, right? And that sort of thing like that. And he decided the same thing, and he scoops it. The jig I was using. One of those Guido Hibden or some similar company like tube jig at the time, and it was a salt and pepper sucker. And I saw these giant blimps down with the flasher in this drop off area, and I kept working over their heads. I had this monster head, right? And that sort of thing like that. And this guy cost us like a $30,000 bass boat, right? So I was pretty peeved at this. And I've had this happen like multi times, right? Where these people that aren't really familiar with netting even much anyways, right? Like I wouldn't worry if it was Al Linder doing it for me or somebody like that, right? But regular people, they don't have enough experience to properly, they get too excited and try and jam the net towards it instead of let the guy lead the fish, get over and make sure that its head and part of its body is fully in the circumference of the net, and then start lifting, right? And to make, and then once you got him scooped where his body starts sliding in, you scoop him up, right? Where it's safe, that's likely. But you got to be careful. A lot of nets they make are awful cheap, and especially people want to net big pike and that. Then the poor pike gets damaged too. Some of them, it's not a good coating on them and all that sort of stuff like that. So I just don't like nets, right, and don't trust them, right? But and I've had a lot of bad experiences over the ages with people trying to net giant fish for me because they get all excited, right, and that sort of thing like that. To me, it's just another day at the office, right? When you've been doing it since you're three, right? Like, and this is what I'm saying. People, adults, got me every weekend, everywhere for any kind of fish. They said, "Oh no, man, this kid's going to destroy them." And I could use everything from bait casters, any kind of rod and reel you could humanly think of, from Alvy reels. I was a wild kid. I'd go to early mornings to garage sales and get these ancient old reels, giant muskies. This lady gave me 5 giant boxes full of ancient musky lures from the 1920s to 50s range that her husband passed on, and that and early musky big reels and bait casters sort of things, and a bunch of other stuff like that, all wooden, beautiful stuff like that. And she gave me that for $20 with these rods and everything, right? Like, so I mean, I was very wild for this sort of thing. So, and every tournaments, a lot of these Canadian ones were cheap, right? So you'd win like maybe $1,000 or something or whatever it is, 500. But then they'd give you like a rod and reel all the time, right? And sometimes they were good companies, Shimano, different ones, right? And Ambassador and all the gang, right? The early guys. And, so I had like, luckily, I had 7 boats stolen off this property, and it wasn't properly insured. I thought they were, but they weren't. And so, over 150 rods that was laying out there. But thank goodness I had this cupboard of what I consider lower class rods and reels, right? Because they were one often, right? And I wouldn't necessarily buy them, right? And that sort of thing like that. But I had enough garbage in there that I could still keep going fishing, right? And stuff, even I find still lures from the 70s sometimes, and all kinds of stuff like that. I made homemade jigs and that. I started making flies and jigs and everything, and plastic, early plastic like worms. And I started doing all this stuff by the age of 4, right? So, yeah, I mean, I always experimented every day. And that sort of thing. And that was a pattern that I'm not sure who's the first person to ever come up with it, but Roland mentioned it, and like early sort of Bassmasters guys from time to time that. and that sort of thing like that. But I had two rods ready on each side, ready for coming up to the dock in the way that I am, so that I'd fling it under there and they would come. And I was using like these big copper blades, right, and that sort of stuff like that. I love copper blades, and that, and so because like sadly, a vast majority of spinnerbait companies, they're getting smaller by the minute. They're all garbage that I keep testing. They'll catch fish, but they won't last long, and they're not really that well designed for big fish anymore, right? Like Roland Martin's one, even though I found it a bit on the small side for such a large blades, number eights and that, but I of the wire that you get, but it was sturdy and it could handle a muskie and big pike and stuff like that. Excellent hook quality. The sample ball bearing swivel, perfect, right? They're the best that I've ever used out of any of them, right? But there's some real good, cheap, inexpensive ones from Temu. But any spinner baits you buy from those guys in bulk, guaranteed they're going to be crane swivels or garbage. One's Mako, they're got to be one of the worst ball bearing swivels I've ever seen. Usually it's either broken right away or it might last a half an hour or a day, or if you're lucky, 2 or 3 days, right? And that they don't spin remotely as well. And so it's so cheap, it's still worth buying because they have enough wire on there that you can make like a small wrap eye, right, like you would with a French spinner sort of thing, and that's enough that if a big muskie jumps with it, that if the arm breaks, that you'll still have a straight connection. Whilst with the arm bend ones, and that the what happens is they put them on this kink on purpose, seemingly. And after it's casted so many times, or a big muskie or pike, and that bend gets weak and hot, and then it'll snap right off. Right now, you got to go buy a new spinnerbait. And Mako also uses the cheapest thread in the world, and they wrap it around the sort of the skirt, and so you always have to industrial strengthen that with some old fishing line. You could use thread, of course, or dip it, whatever is available, right? That's a stringy like, and you just secure the skirt there, right? Don't worry about changing. You just pick up another spinnerbait, have another one with a different color, right? You don't need to. I think it's stupid to waste time with these changeable skirt colors. I don't like them. I never have. I find that I just gotta tie them because they break off easy, and I could just switch to the same model of spinnerbait with the same but a different color, right? In 2 seconds, right? Just as fast as me changing these skirts, right? So I don't do that, right? I usually tie them that way because I'm a cheapskate. I want the lure to last as many dozens of bass as I can bring in with that spinnerbait as humanly possible, right? Sort of thing like that. So if you do that, change the ball bearing swivel, and you can get like a Temu for a couple of bucks here, about 20, 30 of these things, right? And some of them are very good that I've gotten. As long as they sell just ball bearing swivels, they're likely going to work okay because they won't get a repeat customers if they're pure garbage, right? Whilst with these companies that use these things to be on the cheapskate side, but I mean, if you can get like 20 of them for a couple of bucks from Temu, I'm sure Mako could afford to get another supplier that makes a better ball bearing swivel instead of whoever's making it for them now, because it's garbage. Most of them stick right away, right? And that sort of thing like that. Don't use barrel swivels or crane swivels. Replace them, of course, if you want the spinnerbait to. It will spin many more revolutions and everything, and much more vibration and all that, with by you using a proper ball bearing swivel for them. But I modified these to make them go left and right, with these big copper blades, right, and that sort of thing like that. And bingo bango, right? Sort of thing like that. So that's the thing, is you got to keep all these things in mind, and that sort of thing like that. Sadly, I don't have the pictures with me here, my usual thing there with my mermaid ladies. I'll get it up on the other show. I had to change the phone that I was using for some of these things. it got destroyed in a. And my hat probably is destroyed too. I got a giant smallmouth over 6 pounds, and I'm hoping this camera dried out that the camera still works. But I got caught in a flash flood, right? And that sort of thing like that. So, but anyways, so I'm using something else now. And I don't have that picture available with me on this particular one. So, but anyways, we'll put it on the next show as usual. So keep our waters clean. The ladies aren't here, the blondie and the redhead that I usually have. But synopsis there is that this little suegayling ultralight is a fun little reel. The drag's not as good as yeah, a high quality end sort of reel, but if you're careful and everything, it's fine enough to pass the job. I've slain some very big fish of different species with it already. The handle, even if that little cover bumps off, at least it's seemingly soldered in there that it's not going to come out. It hasn't came out on me yet, and that sort of thing. So fun little reel. The skamalie ultralight. It's a little bit wimpy for certain applications if there's a lot of weeds and that sort of thing like that. But a fun little stream rod. If you're crazy like me, you can take on some monster fish if you're a good fish player with it. It's super fun. But if not, it's certainly worthwhile for crappie fishing, perch, sunfish, all that sorts of stuff, right? And that sort of thing like that. And it's a fun little rod, and it's very nice looking and everything. So for its price, it was certainly worth it, right? So, anyways, next show I'll probably do the spinnerbait walleye show next, and that, or I might go back to the carp one and do a boat rig. I have I fish this stairway again, and I have a sort of funny odd contest there, and I actually got several suckers over the current world record and a few under that, right, and that sort of thing like that. So I'll show you some trips. I'll show you some tricks there for summer suckers. Like people just fish for them in the spring, and that's usually when they be the biggest because they're loaded full of eggs and that sort of thing, right? But these are summer fish, and I've been fishing for suckers since I was a little kid. In the '60s, I won sucker fishing contest, and that the odd one that they just have like any kind of fish was workable, and I ended up winning with big suckers and things like that, red horse and different ones, right? And in the states, buffalo fish and that sort of stuff like that. But anyways, so you'll see I've caught over 50 species of suckers, right, all across North America and that sort of thing like that. So I find them really interesting, and they're picky, funny, odd fish, right? And that sort of thing like that. But I got a couple on film that were total monsters, right? And that sort of thing like that. And I'll show you that, as well as a technique for carp fishing that's an ancient old English technique, sort of thing, trotting and that sort of thing. So, anyways, I got lots of different shows coming up, Pike, different ones, right, as they're coming along. So stay tuned and hopefully you enjoy the show.